Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's Trade of the Day. It's the Friday afternoon Zoom edition, and Bitcoin's being a stinker again. We had a pretty big drop last couple of days, showed some signs of recovery this afternoon, and now it's dropping again. So let's take a look. We'll go over to my Bitcoin chart. Okay, you guys should be seeing my 1 hour Bitcoin chart.
Yep, that's
All
it.
right. I usually bring up the day chart, but it was so depressing that I went to the 1 hour. So I could draw this little bitty trend line of hope down here that I actually drew an hour ago, and I had to adjust because Bitcoin fell again. So anyway, at the moment, let's see, we are 41.5. So we're trying to see if Bitcoin can cling to this 40,000 as a floor. That's really what I'm hoping for. So even if it tests, this area here, like it did back last month, it was around 42 and then bounced back up. We got a little lower than that this time. I think 40,800, bounced back up. So if we can establish this, I mean, here we dipped below 40. Actually, we're right out. Yeah, just hit like 39.8 back in September. So if we can establish this as a floor, I think that bodes well for a pretty strong recovery. Everyone has their own Bitcoin opinions, but we'll see.
I can see that Bollinger Band starting to open. Is that significant?
On the day chart, Craig's talking about this area right here. I don't know. It's if that were bubbling out and the top was bubbling out as well.
I think it's trying to, which looks like it's going to dip further on that basis.
Yeah, it could. I mean, when it bubbles, it can go either direction. That's just usually an indication of increasing volume, but all the volume we're seeing here is red. So Craig could be right about this. We could have, you could be testing low 40s. We're already in the low 40s, but like testing 40K or even down to 38 or something like that over the weekend. We'll see if it comes back on Monday or if we get a pump over the weekend. So we'll see. Most of you guys know I'm primarily a leverage trader now. I've got some long positions open that aren't doing well, but I try to have at least one short position open, just so I have something that's going my direction. And I mean, obviously I do some analysis as well before I make that short trade. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So, and then, the reasoning for this, Bryce talked about it in some detail yesterday, in the Lifer call yesterday, so I'm not going to repeat it, but this article here talks about some of the conditions that are leading to this drop. And, the primary one probably could be what the Fed's doing. They're talking about, tapering off on some of their stimulus activities. So yeah, it affects the stock market and, which is an at-risk endeavor, as is crypto. So when people are fearful, they run back to cash. So that probably has something to do with what's going on. There's a lot more to it, but again, Bryce was pretty detailed about this yesterday. So all right, and then we'll take a quick look at Ethereum. Looks pretty similar. We had a pretty big drop, over 20%, showing a little bit of recovery today, and then it's dropping again now. So Bitcoin and Ethereum pretty much in lockstep, not doing so well. I'm hoping we can hold 3,000 on Ethereum. Wouldn't surprise me if we drop down to 27, 2,500. All right, any comments about the overall markets?
Hey, CJ, what is your opinion of a potential downfall in Bitcoin to the 30K range or 31? Just because the fear is so intense, and then like you mentioned, the Fed, those little specific. Is this going to be something short time, or is this something like that's drawn out for like a whole year? There's all these different opinions, and it's all based off of history, and it's like, the bull in me doesn't want to believe that, but I'm also not trying to get wrecked right now, because if it drops more, I'd like to get to buy the, buy the bigger dip.
Sure, sure.
30,000 is a good place to come in, especially with some of these altcoin metaverse tokens.
Yeah, so Federico's right. Could drop further. 30K is probably on the table. I thought the institutional involvement in crypto in the past, the past year or so would help alleviate some of these radical drops, but it doesn't seem to be working out that way. They do frequently buy those big dips, and who knows, maybe even participate in them to some degree in initiating them, like we often accuse the whales of doing. But yeah, I don't have a real good answer, Federico. I'm not sure where it's going.
You know what? That's funny, because I think the psychology in the human mind is correct, because it was yesterday, as I saw everything was going down, I was foreseeing where it was today, and I was thinking to myself, man, if it goes to 30, what do I do? So I didn't want to do this, because, as a Bitcoin miner, they say, you should always hold your mining rewards. Don't ever sell them. Like, miners hold. I went into my mining. I didn't get all of it, but just like a good quarter of it all, and sold it to BTC, and then sold BTC for $1. You know what I mean? So like you said, we complain about these whales when they do it, but when we try to do it on a smaller level, it's the same thing.
Well, I think it's reasonable to sell. I mean, maybe not now so much, but to take profits on your crypto from time to time. I came into some crypto a few months ago, some Bitcoin, and I sold a quarter of it when it was at 68 and change. So I feel pretty good about that. Unfortunately, the other 3 quarters I've held, and it's dropped, all the way down, almost 40%. So anyway, but that's why the CryptNation guy suggests you do that, to take profits from time to time, so you at least get a partial recovery if something goes against you for a while. So, but that's beyond the scope of my day trading approach. So let's get back to that, and we're going to go to Altcoin Alert. All right, you guys, you see my Altcoin Alert screen okay?
Yep.
All right, good. So I've got it sorted by the AA score. I think I'm going to reload. This might be old data. All right, we'll look at the AA scores first. We've got Luna, very bullish, and MATIC, very bullish. And again, for those of you who are new, the AA score is pretty much independent of the rest of this stuff. So ignore everything to the left of it. The AA score is trying to predict the likelihood of the coin bouncing up 3% in the next 48 to 72 hours. So based on past data, Luna and MATIC have over an 80% chance of going up 3% in 48 to 72 hours. So I kind of like that information. Luna has been contrary to Bitcoin from time to time, so I just happen to have that handy. Let's check out the chart. And we'll go to the day chart here, and you'll see I talked about this in some detail on my Monday Zoom. I'm incorporating divergence a lot, and I'm using this divergence for many indicators version 4, which is a free download from TradingView. So I'll talk about how I use that a little bit more detail shortly. So on the Luna day chart, it's sort of followed Bitcoin, at least the last couple weeks. It's down, had a big run up in late December. I recall seeing this a lot. A lot of traders talking about it. Hit 100, then it's dropped 30% since then. On the hour, it's just riding this bottom Bollinger Band on the hour chart. So that's why you're seeing all this bullish divergence. And there's been a lot of pumps from it. So, if you are more of a swing trader, there's some value in downloading this indicator, putting alerts on it. So, and let's go to the 5-minute chart, see if there's anything we can do now. All right, so here's a little, a more recent example of what Craig was talking about with the Bollinger Bands bubbling out. We've got a bubble starting to form here on the Luna 5-minute chart. We've got we don't usually count this as a first dip. for those of you who know that 1, 2, 3 dip training. Got a first dip here though, so this could go into a second or third dip. Probably want to catch it down here if you want to make a trade today. Let's say you do catch it down here, ride it back to the SMA line, which is this pink line. That'd be a 4% trade. That's a good day trade. If you're on leverage 5 or 10x, and that's a really good trade. But it's not there yet, so I wouldn't get in at the moment. There's a couple things we can do regarding alerts. I mean, it's rare that we actually initiate a trade on this Zoom because we try to find the really good entry points. So what I like to do is go over to the 15-minute chart and right click, add an alert on divergence. It usually goes to negative. In this situation, I'm looking for positive. Click on positive, divergence detected. You could leave it at only once or once per bar close. I like the once per bar close. That reduces repainting. Sometimes the indicator will flicker on and flicker back off. If the bar is actually closed, it tends to stay. And call it whatever you want. Just leave it positive divergence detected, and you're good to go. You could also do an alert at this level, at the 20 level, at the MFI, or the 30 level and the RSI. Both tend to be indications of being oversold and due for a recovery. So those are the 3 alerts I like to use when I'm trying to catch a dip trade. Any questions on Luna? Okay, Federico's letting us know he has some buy orders at 60 and 54 at Luna. Not a bad strategy. It's taking that into consideration. You can also put low buy orders. Let's say this just goes sideways the rest of the night, but you really want to get in at your price. Maybe you go in with a low buy order at, down here, bottom of the Bollinger Band, 67.5. I don't know, I'd probably go farther down than that. But you don't go in big in that situation. Probably maybe half to a third of what you'd usually do when you see a situation that you know you're good to go. All right. So that is Luna. Let's look at MATIC as well. That was the other AA score we had. So let's go to the day chart, see the big picture. Another big drop since the 27th. Seems to be the turning point for a lot of these coins, down 30% since then on the hour. Just got bullish divergence on the hour. That's intriguing. But again, last few days, hugging the bottom of the Bollinger Band on the 1 hour chart. On the 5 minute, can we get in now? Looks pretty similar to Luna. Riding the bottom of this Bollinger Band, just kind of chopping up and down. We do have a bullish divergence on the 5 minute chart as of about 20 minutes ago. So I wouldn't trade based solely on that. I'd want to make sure my other indicators line up as well, especially since this seems to be going through a dip sequence. So I wouldn't get in yet. 15-minute chart. Yeah, even though there's divergence showing here, you might want to, but you maybe don't want to get in yet. You can go ahead and add an alert here, and if it moves down and the divergence stays valid, the alert will go off again. So, which is why it can be difficult to backtest the strategy, because sometimes it just keeps dropping down and down and down. Like this may have started here for all we know. So take that into consideration. Or there's the putting the alerts on the 20 on the MFI or the 30 on the RSI. It hasn't hit the 30 on the RSI in the 15-minute yet. So could even go a little lower than 30. Like this was a good recovery here. yesterday when it hit about 22 and then came up, about 2%, dropped, and then shot up, about 3.5%. And then all the way up to 4.3. So that's pretty good. Okay, any questions on MATIC?
Excuse me, CJ, I'm new here, so I'm not seeing the divergence you're speaking of. Can you clarify that for me, please?
Yeah, are you asking what divergence is
No,
generally,
I know,
or?
like, no, I know that I understand the concept of it, but I'm not seeing it when you said I see a little divergence here. I'm not seeing it.
Okay. The indicator I'm using is divergence for many indicators. It would be impractical for me to have all the indicators here so that you could see it. And sometimes the divergence is really small. So I may not be able to exactly show it to you.
Can you pull it in the drop-down box just so we can see specifically what it's called?
Oh, the indicator?
Yeah.
Sure. Sure. This is one right here. Divergence for many
Divergence.
indicators. And
Oh my God, it's just like you said. Okay.
Yeah.
Version
Yeah,
4. Okay.
Version 4 is the most recent.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I want to see if I can show it to you though. Histogram. Even if I could, it would be kind of small.
What about a quick look in the settings to see where it's all
Yeah,
coming from?
I was thinking about that. So here's the ones I keep. And then this is the list of the indicators that it's showing divergence from. So I've got marked MACD, the MACD histogram, RSI, stochastic, CCI, I checked off, momentum. I have on OBV, not sure what that is. I looked it up once, it didn't impress me. The volume weighted MACD I've got checked, the money flow, it's used mostly in stocks, I think. And I've already got a money flow index I've used for a few months, so these seem duplicative to me. So I clicked that one off, but these are the ones I rely on the most.
And can you set up the settings on all of those, like or is it just the default settings?
Yeah, it's just the default. I haven't changed any
So
of them.
that indicator checks for divergence against all those indicators that you have checked off?
That's correct.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty. I was pretty excited when I found this. So because I was just using, the RSI, which is fine, but there are other indicators that deviate as well. And like here on the 15-minute on MATIC, this is the histogram. Well, that's not the RSI. That's a MACD histogram. And that one flared, and it gave me predictive value. This is an amazing trade, 9%. So in 8 hours. I mean, I don't think I took that trade, but
the highlights, the red and the green, those are your markings of your divergence?
yeah, this is where the indicator's kicking in and telling me divergence occurs. It can be better when there's multiple indicators listed, like here. It's got MACD, histogram, RSI, and stochastic. So 4 of them are here. Yeah, actually 5 of them.
I see the wording in there. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
At a glance, it looks quite accurate.
Yeah, but again, sometimes, like this histogram might have initially fired here and then made adjustments as the chart made movements.
Okay.
So the back testing can be deceptive, but I still think overall it's definitely worth your while if you want to trade divergence to add this indicator to your chart.
I recently added the scholastic RSI.
That's stochastic.
Yeah, that's the one. Sorry.
Yeah,
And,
talk about that. I saw most of your Zoom before I started this. So
right. I found where that crosses over is actually quite a good indicator as well.
Yeah,
with the red
Craig's
and the blue
talking
lines cross.
about, I think I've got that one on here, this one.
That one, yeah.
And I was actually thinking about replacing my RSI with this, or my MACD. My charts are trying to get too cluttered now with 5 and 6 indicators, but generally speaking, on the stochastic RSI, if you download that one, if the blue is above, well, you can probably see it. The blue is above the orange, then that's bullish. And the red crosses over, then that's bearish. So, all right, I will ponder that.
Based on, I watched Craig's Zoom the other day, yesterday, I guess was also,
Mhm.
and I heard him mention that stochastic, and I loaded it on, and I was just trying to figure out the difference between the stochastic RSI and regular RSI, and they're quite a bit different, I thought.
I think it moves more like the MACD, but like a much shorter, more sensitive MACD. So I've liked it. I've used it in my like super scalping, like 1 minute, 3 minute charts. I'd never used it though in anything beyond the 5 minutes. I mean, I'm gonna check it out. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, it seems to, like, the cross seems to kick in a bit after the peak, which is closer to when we want to get in.
Mm-hmm. Definitely worth checking out. So I made a note of that, and I will tinker with that this weekend. Hopefully have something for you on Monday. If
Are
not,
there
then
any
next
particular
week.
parameters on that stochastic RSI?
I'm just using the defaults at the moment. I haven't gone to trying to tune it yet.
It seems to be, it makes sense just with the defaults.
You should know the trading view considers a stochastic to be a leading indicator and not a lagging indicator like the Bollinger Band.
We do like leading, so
Yeah, and
How-
that was
how-
one of the
how is that?
factors that I thought was fantastic about it.
it's predicting the future. How is that so, Patrick? I think that's where Nathan wants
Yeah.
to.
Well, the same crystal ball as the stock market, I guess.
I mean, a lead indicator will be, it'll give you some indication of what's going to happen based on some, in some cases, sentiment factors or I mean, what is it about it that tells you what's coming? To me, that's an important indicator if it can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can download the code and take a look.
They may just
Okay.
have the settings set so that it appears post price change. I mean, you can do that with most of them. If your indicators aren't lining up to where price is making your change, usually manipulating the inputs can usually slide it left or right. So I'd be hesitant. I'm not aware of any, I've been trading a long time. I'm not aware of any indicator that's not lagging. Most are lagging. I don't think I've ever heard of an indicator that isn't lagging. And the only time that someone's ever said, oh, it's predictive is when they adjust the input so that it appears pre-price. And oh, it's turning over and oh, price follows it type of thing. But I'd be careful with that.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening is one of the lines is adjusted like that.
Yeah.
And that's how it creates the crossover.
Yeah.
All right.
But I don't know, just when since I've been using it, which isn't that long, it's been, I've found it to be very spot on.
All right. Cool. Well, let's get
Craig,
let's get
can I-
our review.
Thanks
of
for that,
altcoin
Craig. I'm
alerts.
going to study that.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. All right, so we're done with the altcoins AA scores for now. The other thing I've been using, actually quite a bit more than the AA scores, is long-term sentiment sort that Josh Frank introduced to us late November, I believe. All right, so I don't recall the numbers, but generally speaking, if you do this sort every day and trade the top, I don't know, 5 or 10 or 20 coins, something like 1,000% increase over the year. Don't know all the details in that data, but I thought it was a good way to use this. The long-term sentiment is the essentially what the word on the street, what Twitter's saying about a coin in the last 24 hours compared to the last 20 days. And I was going to show you guys my results for my first week in this year. So I'm going to bring up my spreadsheet. And let's see, share screen. All right, you guys should be seeing my spreadsheet.
Yes.
All right, so these are the trades I've made using this long-term sentiment sort. I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades this week. And then I've got one based on a SIG dev. So I'm trading all these at 10x leverage. So, got, all these went very well, very quickly within the same day. And so you multiply these profit loss percentages by 10x, and that's what I made on the actual amount that I was risking. So I'm very pleased with this. I think, this in and of itself is probably going to pay for my membership pretty consistently. I've also used it on the short side too. You see these red ones are shorts. Actually, I did more shorts than longs. I did 3 longs and 4 shorts. So, and I'm just treating this like any other day trade. I'm looking for 2 or 3%, just like they talk about in Altcoin Alert. And this one here on Aave went a little longer. I also got some information from Carbon about this, so sometimes they overlap. And 3.9 times 10% is 39%. Loving that as a day trader. And all right, well, that's all I have on. Any questions on those results before we do some long-term sentiment sorts? Okay.
Very cool.
Thank you. All right, so on the bullish side, since we've already looked at a couple of charts showing a lot of these coins hugging the bottom of the Bollinger Bands on the 5 and 15-minute charts, and even the hour charts. Some of these coins should be bouncing back. Well, if Bitcoin dives to 30, like like Freddie was talking about, then not anytime soon. But if we get a bounce this weekend, these are the kind of coins that could do pretty well. Chili's, Tezos, Cosmos. Let's go ahead and look at Chili's since
So
that's
CJ, I don't mean to interrupt you, man, but this is the altcoin alert right here, right?
Yep. I'm sorting
Wow.
by this column here, long-term sentiment, the word on the street. And so it's telling me these
Very
5
bullish.
coins are very bullish. It should be coming
Chili's,
back.
Tezos. I took a screenshot of that. Thank you. I'm gonna ask you questions about this altcoin alert after.
Okay. And I usually want to match this up. Josh talked about this a week or so ago with some other 1 or 2 other columns here for for confirmation. And ideally we'd have some good elder impulse information as well. This is a technical indicator that deals with momentum and things like that. So what I like here is I'm seeing very bullish and bullish on the elder impulse daily on this Iris and Atom. Well, I'm very familiar with Atom. I traded it yesterday or the day before. So let's go ahead and look at Atom. It's also got a bullish, but not a very bullish AA score. So this one should be bouncing back fairly soon. And it has resisted some of the Bitcoin dumpage lately too. So let's go to the hour chart. Yeah, it pumped up as of early this morning up to almost 45. And has dropped 39 since then. On the 5-minute, yeah, it's in a dip sequence now. Got MACD divergence on the 5-minute chart. This might be a decent entry. 1, 2, 3 on the 4th dip, 3 green. I like this. Unfortunately, my most of my slots are full, or I'd probably do this. Not financial advice, but yeah, I like this a lot. If you're not quite sold yet, You can go to our 15-minute chart, put your alert on the divergence. We're already almost to the 20 on the MFI, and we're already below the 30 on the RSI in the 15-minute chart. On the hour, yeah, if you're maybe 30-minute. Yeah, if you want to be extra cautious, and maybe put your alerts on the 30-minute chart. But I like what I see in the 5-minute chart on Atom. So, all right, I know I zipped around a lot on that. Any questions on Atom and the current dip sequence? All right, let's see, got a chat message. All right, Patrick posted a link to TradingView support solutions about the stochastic indicator. So cool. Let's look at a short on Altcoin Alert, the long-term sentiment. It's been a little pokey today. Could be because I'm running a Zoom and a VPN and 14 windows open. All right, bearish. Okay. Got Quantum, RSR, ENJ, XRP. Yeah, so if you're shorting, you have to be on some kind of leverage platform. It's got quite a few still showing bearish. Rune, Waves, these are all IOST, SNX, depending on what exchanges you're on, you can short these. So I do a lot of this on Femex. So let's look at Quantum. I know that's on, I think that's on Femex. All right, go to the day chart.
You like Femex because
Just for variety. I really don't like it that much, to be honest. I mean, it's a good plan C. I liked Binance the most, but as American, it's just too difficult to trade there. So I'm done with them. I do almost all my leverage on Bybit now. Well, probably 2/3 of it, and then the other third on Femex. Okay, Quantum day chart trending down pretty hard. So this trend may continue. We do have bullish divergence on the hour chart, but when it comes to divergence, just because this indicator flashes doesn't mean it's something you take. You have to get confirmation. So like this flashed and the MFI is pointing down hard, your RSI is dribbling down, so that we don't have confirmation for this divergence on the day chart. So on the hour, yeah, trending down pretty hard. Bullish divergence on this hour. We have disagreement between the MFI, which is not in this list, and the RSI, which is. So contradictory information is not confidence inspiring to me. 5-minute chart coming up a little bit. So if I did want to short this, I would probably go to the 15-minute chart and just do the opposite of what I told you guys to do on the long stuff we're considering. Right click on here, add an alert, and go ahead and keep that negative divergence detected. Open bar close, create. I think I'm just going to leave that one. Maybe I'll trade that tonight. I'm in Neo right now based on a short that I saw this morning on the sort I just showed you. And so that one's in profit and I might just get out of it. I haven't hit my goal yet. So on second thought, I'm going to stay in, but we'll see. Okay, so that's one way to do your alert, and the other one is the opposite. You put your alert here on the 80 on the MFI, crossing 80, or you go 70 on the RSI. if you want to get a good short entry on quantum.
You don't put crossing up or crossing down in there?
I usually do, but crossing is sufficient for just a single alert. If I'm keeping an alert on for a period of time, then I'll do that. I'll be more specific. All right, guys. Any questions on quantum? Okay, we're at about 35 minutes, so I will go ahead and entertain a question or two, and then I'm going to close this down for the week and start my my next Zoom. So, any questions on Altcoin Alert or any of the sorts or trading view things we've talked about? All right, then I will stop the recording here. For those of you watching on the recording, thank you so much for doing so. And hopefully we'll see you on Monday. The rest of you guys, you want to hang around for Carbon, we'll do that next.